Drought looming large during this legislative session as well, especially as dire reports come out urging action to save the Great Salt Lake. ABC4 meteorologist Nate Larson joining us live from the shores of the lake now. And Nate, you're going to tell us a little bit about what's on the table here when it comes to encouraging Utahns to save water.
That's right, Glenn. Yeah, we know last year, as you know as well, there were a record number of water conservation and appropriation bills that came out. This year, there's handfuls more. It was combing through some of those just to help battle some of the drought and the crisis that we're seeing here at the Great Salt Lake with record low levels. Now, some of the bills I combed through talk about conserving water. Of course, that's the key. We don't want to waste what water we do have, and any excess can go back into the lake. Some of the ones I found talked about school conservation as far as water use at schools could be conserved, and even tracking the amount of water that's used at golf courses being required to disclose that publicly each and every year. Utah's extended drought and its impacts across the Beehive State are some of the top priorities this year at Utah's legislative session.
One winter alone is not going to wash away 2 decades of drought. The ongoing drought, our management of state water, increased resources for water in southern Utah, and preservation of the Great Salt Lake are top priorities for this House.
Drought has been top of mind for many Utahns.
And I think it's top of mind to everyone. You know, we're seeing record lows in Lake Powell and in Great Salt Lake, and I think there's a lot of interest in those areas and really how can we conserve our water resources to continue to thrive as a state.
More than a handful of water-related bills are being introduced this session, which include ways to help schools reduce water use, to requiring golf courses to track and disclose the amount of water they use. Other bills like House Bill 150 address issues with water emergency declarations and how farmers and ranchers might be protected if their water allocation is repurposed during the water emergency.
If a water right is taken from a farmer or rancher, then they will be compensated for that loss of crops.
House Bill 150 is being introduced because of the severity of our most recent drought conditions. Even with our incredible snowpack numbers this year, the director of the Division of Water Resources, Candace Hassenjager, says it's more of an opportunity to catch our breath while we implement new conservation practices.
We need to be in it for the long haul, whether we're residents or businesses or farmers, that we're using our water as wisely as possible. We live in the driest state in the nation and also one of the fastest growing. So it's really critical that into the future we continue to use our water wisely.
All right, so water conservation is key, from everything to how we water our lawns and gardens in the summertime to ways that we can reduce the amount of water even in a home, whether it's running the faucets, the amount of times, the amount of water the toilets are using. To find out more ways you can slow the flow or conserve water, you can visit slowtheflow.org. Live at the Great Salt Lake, Nate Larson, ABC4 News.
Nate, thanks so much. We can all do our part, definitely, and we know the consequences of a shrinking Great Salt Lake are far-reaching, from our health to our economy and beyond. The governor also signaling a lot of support for making sure we save the Great Salt Lake, so we will watch as lawmakers continue to build on historic funding from last year's legislative session.